Adelaide, South Australia. Two young women were sexually assaulted within months of each other in 2012, sparking a police hunt for the North Adelaide rapist. 8 years later, Patrick Perkins was arrested and pleaded guilty for the crimes. Police were able to identify Patrick Perkins as a suspect due to a familial DNA search. This video will go over what a familial DNA search is, the circumstances in which a familial DNA search is conducted, and the ethical considerations regarding familial DNA searches. All sources will be linked in the description. What is a familial DNA search? A familial DNA search is when authorities use DNA to uncover a relative of a suspect in a serious crime. In comparison to traditional DNA tests that seek to directly match DNA with suspects. So, what happens if the suspect doesn't have their DNA available on the federal database? As you can probably guess, that's where familial DNA searches come in. If, for example, the suspect's son goes to jail for some reason and his DNA is added to the federal database, authorities can use familial DNA to see that the son is related to the suspect and narrow down their search. Notes on familial DNA. Notice how I said if the suspect's son goes to jail. That's important because familial DNA searches are only effective with men, or more accurately people who have a Y chromosome, simply because current technology only allows us to match similarities in the Y chromosome. Circumstances where familial DNA is used. Familial DNA is used when very serious crimes, like the one I mentioned at the start, provide no DNA matches to people on the database. Due to this technology being very labour intensive and raising ethical considerations, it's not used very often. Cases where familial DNA searches were used include Roy Charles Waller, the NorCal rapist, US. Roy was arrested in September 2018 as a suspect for more than 10 rapes between 1991 and 2006. He was charged with 40 counts of rape. Joseph James D'Angelo, the Golden State Killer, US. Joseph was a serial killer active from 1974 to 1986. He has committed at least 13 murders, more than 50 rapes, and over 100 burglaries. Unfortunately, Joseph was only charged with 8 counts of first-degree murder and 13 related kidnapping and abduction attempts. Unfortunately, he cannot be charged with the rapes in the 1970s. Ethical considerations. This technology seems pretty good, doesn't it? Giving more opportunities to law enforcement in order to solve horrific crimes is almost always a good thing. So why did one state in the US, Maryland, ban the use of familial DNA searches, and what's GED match? Rewind to the start of the video. Patrick Perkins was the first person in Australia to be convicted by familial DNA. Currently, authorities in Australia only have access to DNA in the criminal database. This is not the case in the US, which brings us to GED match. GED match is like Facebook for DNA results. They are 100% giving your data to the FBI. How does GED match get your DNA though? You could upload your genealogical DNA test results directly to the site, or more likely you used an ancestry tracking website to learn that you're mostly white. When I said GED match was letting the FBI go through their database, that wasn't a joke. If a user opts in, they will have their data used by law enforcement to solve cases, raising concerns over privacy. Look, I'm not smart enough to put forward reasons as to why the use of familial DNA is wrong or unethical, but my gut tells me it isn't a good thing. This could very well be a case of ignorance and scientific illiteracy on my behalf. I mean, there's a reason most of my sources are from Wikipedia, but I can't help to ask myself, if authorities can use this technology to track down serial killers and rapists, who else could they use this technology to track down, and for what reasons? If societies turn cruel, could this become a tool of persecution? I am not smart enough to answer that, but I hope this video captures the imagination of someone who is. Thank you for your time.